Here is the plan of the hanging pocket bag I'm going to make. I want to use it to store my cleaning supplies to make my cleaning cupboard more organized. I'm using fabric scraps that were left over from a previous project to make this bag. I have made these simple patterns for the pockets and now I'm using them to draw the pockets to the fabric and then cutting out the pocket pieces. This bigger fabric will be the background piece of the bag where I will attach the pockets. This used to be a cape I made as a teenager, but I haven't used it since I was a teenager, so it's time to put the fabric to better use. I originally purchased this fabric from a second-hand shop. Then I'm ironing all the pockets. When I started my sewing hobby, I didn't iron anything because it was boring. But since then, I have learned that you should always iron everything because the end result is going to be so much better. These small pieces I will use to hang the bag from the hooks that are on top of the cupboard door. Then I'm using an overlocker to finish the edges of the pockets. I changed to an ordinary sewing machine to finish the edges of the corners since they are too small to do with the overlocker, at least for me. I'm using leftover thread here, so it's a weird color, but that's okay since no one can see it. For the next step, I'm changing the thread because I want to have a yellow thread for the yellow fabric. I'm finishing the hem of the opening of the pocket by folding it and sewing the fold. And then sewing the corner of the pocket closed. And now I have a nice little pocket. Then I'm doing the same for all the rest of the pockets. There are 16 pockets in total. Now I finished sewing all the pockets, so next I'm ironing all of them into a nice pocket shape. I finished ironing all the pockets, so I'm placing them on the background fabric next. And then attaching the bottom of the pocket to the background with pins. And then I'm sewing the bottom parts of the pockets to the background fabric. Finished. Now I'm pinning the sides of the pockets to the background fabric. I'm doing this on the outside sides of the pockets because I think that sewing inside the pockets would be too difficult. At least I don't know any good techniques to do it. And now I've pinned all the pockets. So the next step is sewing all of them. Then I'm pinning the second piece of the background fabric to the first one inside out, and then I'm sewing it and cutting the corners. And ironing the edges. Then I'm turning it back right side out. And ironing the edges again from this side. These metal pieces are from a broken and worn out old handbag, which I threw away, but I saved the metal parts of the bag and now they come in handy. Then sewing the final edge, and I'm also sewing all the other edges. I was left with this much blue thread, so the thread was the perfect length. And final ironing and then the final results. I originally planned to put a beam here, but I totally forgot about it, so I will add it later if it loses its shape too much.